with the Artisan Tarot. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. This is going to be your reading for Mercury Retrograde, basically from the end of April all the way to post-shadow phase. Okay, so I'm going to be using several different cards. I won't be posting for the rest of the month because I was trying to do your reading Aquariuses and Capricorn. Literally, Mercury just kept stopping me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he's going to do that to me all month long. When it comes to these videos, I'm not going to stress myself out about it. Instead, I'm just going to post these 30-minute ones with a 3-deck check-in and then call it one and done for the month till post-shadow. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I'm doing it a little differently because, guys, also, I am taking personal appointments on top of, if you would like to book a session with me or tip me, you may do so down in the description box below. But I wanted to let you guys know I'm only available till Memorial Day weekend. And then I'm 2 weeks off. I'm basically the last 2 weeks of the retrograde post-shadow phase. I'm off. I have a sibling is getting married. I am now in the wedding and I've had to scramble and like get stuff done. Like I still don't even have my shoes. I got to go get my dress altered. Like it's a whole thing because now I'm a part of it and I've got to go greet family. I've got, family coming in. I've got a whole bunch of just things going on. So that's why the first 2 weeks in June I'm taking off. I'm not even really going on a vacation. It's more or less like it's wedding time, So other than that, guys, I will be back on the 16th of June. And then I usually take that day off on the following day on Friday. I have a doctor's appointment, but after that week, everything is business as usual. You will be able to reschedule me for appointments unless I have another vacation come up. So there's that. Also, if you want to book a session with me and I am not available at the times you are available, that's okay. I actually do also recorded readings that can get sent to your email address. So you can just pick a time slot that you want your reading to be delivered by and the day, and I can actually do that for you. So there you go. And then you get the reading for the video link to your email. So also 2 other things. I have your signs, rites, rituals, spell work, castings, and incantations and messages from Mother Isis already posted to Patreon. I go through not only the rites, how you're supposed to, ideally how these are supposed to work, what exactly you might be wanting to investigate. We go through messages, we go through spell work, we go through casting, as in like how to actually cast. I teach you guys how to do these rituals. And also I've given you some of my own personalized rituals as well from this deck. So there's that. Because the author has some, but I also did some of my own. So it's like I'm giving you both. And I give you guys substitutions and I pull extra cards. So that is on Patreon. Please join me there. Especially if you want to work on unconditional love and developing that within yourself, or you want to go further into that, this is the stuff for you. That's going to be posted all throughout May. And I will have your full moon reading posted for Scorpio also on Patreon in that tier. If you join that tier now, I believe you'll also have access to the full moon and Libra reading. So then you'll have Libra and Scorpio for $35 this month. So pretty cool, huh? So let's go ahead, and I'm actually doing things a little different. We're communing with my dragon totem, actually. I actually do work with the dragon totems. The dragons and the Fae came to me around the same time. The Fae came a little bit earlier by like a few years, but they always come to me around springtime. So hang on just a second here while I pull these out. And then we've got one more deck that I will be using, which is the awesome... Remember how I keep talking about the Dragonfae Oracle? I think it's time to bring it out. I normally wouldn't, but I feel like it is necessary to work through Mercury Retrograde. As you can see, I have my own little notes that I work with when I work with these decks. I make my own notes and my own notations and whatnot. So sometimes the boxes actually have like my own personal stuff in them. Normally they don't, but sometimes they do. Okay, so I'm still going to pull from your Fae blessings because these blessings, or the blessing, is what's going to help you throughout the whole month of Mercury Retrograde, okay? So you can ask and invoke those Fae anytime. I'll pull in the middle of the session. Let's go ahead and get started with the dragons first. Now, dragons as a totem, Pisces, you might be easily able to tap into it. They're a lot of fun because they're highly connected to spirit. And not only that, but they're so easy to, well, I'll put it this way. Most dragons don't like work with people unless it's a part of their path. Why? Because the dragon totem is an intense path and it is not for the faint of heart. But I like to get guidance from them because they are just full of such wisdom and perspective that even at times I am like, wow, y'all are taking this rather well. And they've lived for like eons. You know what I mean? Like they are millennia sometimes, in some cases, the oldest. And they're so smart, you know, like they're so dang smart. And, you know, they really give you a new lease on life when you start working with them. So let's go ahead and show me, please, my wonderful dragons, my wisdom, full of beautiful wisdom dragons. Show me, please, for Pisces, what are the messages you have in terms of what they are going to be dealing with or how you will help them during Mercury retrograde. Okay, everybody's been getting 4. Looks like you guys got a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this neutral. I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to turn this over. Okay. And then give me a second because we got 3 on the side. So give me a minute here. I'm trying to get these all in frame for you. Let me see. Can you guys see? Yeah. Okay. I'll just put this one down here. Okay. So Pisces, yeah, you guys got a lot of dragons coming through. I mean, I normally only pull 4, but you got like 6. That's not bad. I mean, I kind of get why though, because we have Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces, which are 2 of Pisces' main rulers. It actually is co-ruled by 3, including Venus. Now, some charts are saying Venus has moved into Pisces already, but according to mine, it actually might be in Taurus. It just depends on the form of astrology you follow. So if you follow Western, make sure to check where Venus is for you. And if you follow Eastern or Vedic, make sure to check where Venus is in that particular area is for you. I also follow progression too. So I follow not just natal, but progression. And I actually haven't gotten too much into the Eastern astrology as much as I've wanted to, because I've been trying to expand on this business practice for like years. It feels like a whole decade. It's only been 6 years, but it feels like it's been a whole decade. Maybe one day I'll be able to finally sit down and do Vedic and Eastern. Unfortunately, I just don't have the time. So for anybody who is doing that, check your Venus. And also whether you are Vedic or Western astrology or different astrology method, because also we have to think of the other totems. Like Celtic doesn't have the same totem as astrology as the Greeks, but so on and so forth. You catch my drift. The point is please make sure whatever sign has to do with and is or connected to Venus or Venusian energy or goddesses of love and romance, make sure you find out where they are in that natal chart. Because for you, this is going to play a big factor as to how you're going to work with Jupiter and Neptune. Now, that being said, I'm going to start off with this dragon because this was the one that popped up, and then we're going to go this way. So we're going to kind of go all over the place. I apologize, Pisces, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have it any other way. So you have the golden orange dragon. Expands your light for ascension. Now, dragons in this deck deal with ascension, light energy, spiritual connection, how to actually get this a little bit deeper with the Dragon Oracle deck. I actually really like it for this. This talks about being a peaceful warrior, help those in need, and remember your magnificence. Now, this dragon I have worked with it, and it really is, it'll make you feel a little warm when you work with it. I mean, it's not bad, but like you'll feel like warm like on a summer's day, but not sweaty. Sometimes when I have worked with a lot of dragons though, I've seen like in my fire spell castings, they've made things like fire up a lot. So just make sure to drink plenty of water, especially with this one. Now this has to do with the chakras of orange and yellow, which even in this deck, there is a lot of orange, but there are also other colors too, but mainly orange. So sacral chakra energy might be something you might want to look into. Now, being a peaceful warrior with this dragon is kind of like art historically, the Knights Templar actually used to help people like go on pillages to churches. It was a thing in the Renaissance period. And you know, the truth is what most people don't tell you is like the Templars actually were the people you would hand your money to, so you wouldn't get robbed on the highway on the way to the church to do a pilgrimage. And so then you would get to the next town and they would hand you like a little, you know, something like a receipt. You'd get your money and you'd be able to buy food, lodging, stuff for the night, and then so on and so forth. And so like the Templars were, in that sense, I would say peaceful warriors, because, you know, you also have to look at how they've played out in history. Now, art historically, we know that the Templars were actually accused by the church of doing horrific things, and a lot of them were actually persecuted and tortured and said that that was not true. And so, just FYI, you should probably do your research into it. But there was a series done by, what's his name? Hawkeye, the guy who plays Hawkeye on Avengers. He produced a Knights Templar show on the History Channel called something Knights. Oh, I can't remember. It was good though. The first season was really good. Definitely give that a watch, because that talks a lot about like peaceful warrior and that kind of energy. Because just because you're peaceful, it doesn't mean you still aren't aggressive. It just means you're coming from a higher perspective of knowing when to be defensive versus aggressive. Okay. Now the next thing is also, Pisces, I have to note your chart from your first house all the way to your 10th to your 3rd is at least lit up like a beacon, and you're right in the middle. Now, the next dragon we have is the Earth Dragon. This clears your path and the land around you. This teaches you to stay grounded, be ready to serve. Stuck energy is clearing. You can move forward in life. Now, Earth Dragons are great for working with stability, obviously, because they're the element of Earth. This is where I would tell you, when I'm looking at the progression of your chart, your 3rd house and your wherever Capricorn is, for you, that is, hang on a second here, your 11th are where you need to ask and invoke this Earth Dragon to help you, because you have Pluto in Capricorn, but the full moon in Scorpio is also going to retroactivate activity in Capricorn with Pluto there. So you're kind of going to be getting this emotional volatility in your 11th house of friendship. And then to top that off, you've got, you know, where you are, Pisces, on the wheel with Taurus in terms of where you are. You have that 3rd house of communication also active. Mercury is going to be giving a lot of revealing, a lot of secrets being revealed, a lot of truths, a lot of, you know, etc., etc. And the thing is that with that being there, you need to be mindful that this dragon is trying to help you, so best to use it, right? And then we have Crystal Yellow Dragon, opens you to higher learning of wisdom, expand your crown chakra for illumination, walk the higher spiritual path. Now, this came up down here. So this is telling me that as you're dealing with Mercury retrograde and its challenges this month, you are being given, this dragon is trying to come through. Because see how he's all yellow and this one is orange and yellow and this one has like orange wings. So this is after we've done our sacral chakra work and we are now working on our solar plex. Solar plex is all about yellow and helping us to feel empowered when we feel defeated, okay? So that is something that these dragons, you can ask and invoke their help, and usually they'll come and help you because that's what they want to do, usually. It's rare for a dragon to turn somebody down, but they may end up like guiding you to some of these dragons work with archangels or deities too, so just keep that in mind. And I'm also going to pull from the Dragon or Fae Oracle, where this is the Fae and the dragons combined, so that it like takes this reading up a whole nother notch. Now, you do have the green gold dragon from Sirius, so some of you may be starseeds that are connected to Sirius. If you're not, you may know someone who is, and in this lifetime, and this dragon is trying to come through to either help you or them. For some reason, it's like they're trying to help you and they're trying to help this other person, and brings universal knowledge of spiritual pathway. Learn about spiritual technology, be a transmitter of sacred knowledge. So Pisces, you know, kind of makes sense when I look at, again, the astrology of where you are, where everything is. You know, you've got Saturn sitting in your 12th. And Saturn is about karma, but also the funny part is you don't have any air sign energy in your chart, yet you have it in Taurus in the 3rd with Mercury going retrograde. This would be a good time to do research, not just on technology, but also ancient technology. You know, every time I've sat down and done research about certain societies, as an art historian, I see more and more mystical, spiritual technologies coming out. You might want to do crystal work or learn how to work with crystal grids. You might even want to learn how to work with like the crystal pyramid crystals, which I have not done, but I've always wanted to do. I just am not in a space that supports that, and I'm afraid to buy those and then them get damaged by people who live in this house. So that are unsupportive, because believe me, they'll do it. So that's why I'm like, I want to wait till I'm in a safer environment. But there's not only that, like I said, there's lost civilizations. Atlantis was known to use crystals as grids around the whole freaking planet. There's a theory out there that the reason Atlantis fell is because the crystal grids were damaged. So you might want to look into that if that is something that interests you. But let's also look at, you know, whenever I think of dragons, I also think of Arthurian lore, Arthurian legends, because Merlin and his totem is highly connected to that. Merlin is also, for me, definitely connected to dragons. And he is, Merlin himself is just, he's a fun energy to work with, but he's very quiet. And so I feel like it's almost like a library kind of energy. And so that's why it's like with this card in particular, that's kind of what I get is like that library energy. And I want you guys to remember that, you know, for you, it's not about actively listening. This is about being in quiet so you can read and learn. Minimize your distractions. I know that's a little hard to say because Mercury retrograde is all about distractions, but there's also a side to him that a lot of people miss. He distracts us to get us to take a break to sit and think about what we're doing. This would be a good dragon to work with whenever you start to feel that chaos of Mercury retrograde with Mars and Uranus there, just to kind of put them to the side for a hot minute and collect yourself, especially spiritually, because you are going to be receiving psychic messages, not even from the dragons, but from yourself and from your intuition on high, because we have so much going on in Pisces alone with Neptune and Jupiter there. Now, also, you have the dark blue galactic dragon. This one helps you listen to the voice of the universe. Oh my God, Pisces, what did I just say? Ignites the codes of your master blueprint. Access cosmic wisdom and enter higher service. Now, this card came up for another sign yesterday, but I can't remember who it was, but I did make a point to note, if you don't know what your master blueprint is, I usually say it's actually a person's astrology chart, because when I was doing several years ago, like 14 years ago, research into astrology, that theme kept coming up about how it's your soul's blueprint. So even if, and I'm talking your natal chart, but your progression is also a blueprint for the collective you will be working with and towards. So a great example of this is, let's say you're born with a sun in Capricorn natally, and your rising sign is, let's say, Aries, okay, natally. But let's say you look into your progression and your chart says progressionally, yes, your sun is still Capricorn, but it's like 4 houses forward, 3 houses forward. Changes everything, right? Because that has to do with the collective group that you're, working with, where the progressions come into play. So the beauty of knowing your natal chart is knowing, okay, the progression is going to affect me this way and such thing. Okay, here's how I'm going to work with that. Here's how I'm going to help the collective, because this is all about coming from galactic collective experience. It's not so much that your natal chart is not important. It is very important. But when you begin to work with collective energy and galactic energy, it's basically like, you know how, like, you know how they say there's a needle in a haystack? That saying, it's kind of like that. Like the galactic and the collective is the haystack and you're the needle in it. Okay, so just FYI, like, It doesn't mean that you're not important. You are Pisces, but you have to remember there are other needles in the haystack too that need help to shine and pathways that are meant to come together. So don't forget that. And then lastly, the dragon that is showing up, this extra dragon, is the golden solar dragon. This helps you stand in your masculine power with wisdom. Let your DNA be reprogrammed with light codes activated. Become an inspired leader. Now, Pisces, for those of you who don't know what light codes are, light codes come from, and this is a theory in the spiritual New Age community, that it has to do with your genetics, your DNA, and your gifts. Now, what I've learned about light codes is you have your own, and then you have your ancestral ones. You have powers from, or abilities from past lives that carry into you into this lifetime. And depending on the genetics of your background, of your family's background, kind of depends on how you're going to activate your light within you and use your abilities for activating those light codes or practicing. Now, it's interesting that this is coming up because I would tell you guys, if you're wanting to work on and or develop a new psychic ability or maybe even mediumship ability, what you should be doing is research before you even start to activate. This is a perfect time with Mercury retrograde. It's followed by this green gold dragon from Sirius, because Sirius also deals with light codes. So just know, Pisces, you actually do have this really great setup for what's going to come. Also, it talks about DNA. That's why ancestry is a big deal. So a great example of ancestral DNA versus you as a soul and your light codes DNA and how they work together is, let's say, for example, you have a great grandparent that was a Mexican curandero, right? Okay. For people who are of that culture, you know what I'm talking about. It's basically like a shaman. Okay, but let's say that's on one of your parents' side. Let's say it's mom. Okay, now let's say you look at dad's side and you have the ability to tap into the witchcraft of Strega, which is Italian witchcraft. So you can actually use both to help develop your abilities. Pretty cool. But you have to do the research and you have to know how to do it. This is where folklore comes and plays a huge role, not only as far as folklore as in what you're tapping into, but also folk magic, because your ancestors might have something, a gift or something for you to help you, but you can't do it until you begin to unlock that light code. So they might shine a light on something. They might give you an animal totem, right? For dad's side. Mom's side, they might teach you an Italian Greek god or goddess or Roman god or goddess that may not be in the Greek pantheon that wants to help you, so on and so forth. Okay, so there's also that to it. And then you have your own ability that's trying to break out. Now that could be mediumship, that could be clairsentient, that could be clairaudient. You see my point. So you catch my flow. So it's kind of a lot, but it's not too much. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull a card from the Dragonfae Oracle to see how the Dragonfae want to help you during Mercury retrograde. Because even though, other readers always try to school me on Mercury retrograde, but then I end up, Mercury retrograde ends up validating my point, which is hilarious to me. But I'm not a jerk about it. I'm just I told them, I don't know what to say. But the thing is depending on where your natal Mercury placement is going to depend on how he affects you. But overall, working with the Dragonfae kind of helps mitigate that. So show me, please, Sir Pisces, my beautiful Dragonfae, elementals, guardians, guides, and deities. What is coming through for Pisces? How would you like to help Pisces with Mercury retrograde? Michele-Lee. Oh, she's awesome. I know she looks scary and intimidating, but that's her whole gist. It's about accepting yourself wholly for who you are. The story about her, actually from the book, talks about her. She was the daughter of an Irish king, and her mother was a dragon fae or fae being. And the mother and the father came together, and then they had these two beautiful daughters. Well, when it was found out that they were dragon fae, he pretty much cut them out. And, you know, she had denied her inner nature and she could no longer deny it anymore. And so she came out and she kind of looks like, you know, I know she looks intimidating. I know she does, but I promise you, she is so awesome to work with because she wants to help you accept yourself when no one else does. I mean, she was denied by her dad, her lover, you know, her mom died, her sister, who's also pretty cool to work with, who's in the deck too. Her sister is a different sign than her, but, you know, she's an earthy being, yes, but she's also, oh my God, do you guys see that light glare as I'm talking about her? That is awesome. I've never seen that happen with these cards. Okay, sorry guys. But yeah, she's going to help you work through, it has to do with, it's not just like identity. This has to do with the identity and how it plays with the sense of self, how we see ourselves. And when she just cast off the illusions and was like, you know, nobody's really going to like me if I come out anyway. Why hide it? I'm still going to be me and I'm going to love me. And I'm not going to be feeling alone in that because I'm going to connect to my fae, my dragon side. I don't have to hide that anymore. It's very empowering. Like, I love working with her, honestly, when I've worked with her because she's not harsh. But she doesn't like take things, you know, from people either. But she's just unapologetically herself. And I think that is a fundamental thing that you need to learn about Mercury retrograde in your third house of communications is communicating openly, being mindful of other people's feelings, yes, but being fundamentally yourself, Pisces. And I feel like everybody is always trying to censor you or trying to tell you what for, and you're just like, dude, like, can you not? Like, can you just let me be for 5 minutes without trying to, like, censor me because you feel a certain way? Hold on, I'm going to reshuffle, guys. So, show me my beautiful Sealy cord. What are the Fae blessings that are coming in for Pisces that they can use during Mercury retrograde? Here's the divine guidance. Okay, that one's reversed. We're not taking that. I gotta, you know me, I gotta take it till it's upright for this deck. So, I'll take this one and, oh, perfect. You got two. Okay. So, you have a blessing of honesty. Oh my God. Pisces, what did I just say? And actually, when I did this for another sign not too long ago, this came up about shamanism and connecting to the animal and plant world, but mainly animal world. Now, for you, Pisces, you're the fish. You can connect to the Mer energy if you want to, Mer totem, but this is more earth magic. So, a great example of this is, again, looking at your ancestry, looking at where your ancestral guides come from, looking at where your ancestors in the genealogy comes from, and see or find out, like, your lineage's animal totems and working with them is definitely what I'm getting. This is a definite Fae blessing. The Fae want to work with you to either help develop this or build a relationship. Also, this talks about, like I said, a blessing of honesty, being honest in the self, being communicatively honestly, as well as, you know, Jupiter is one of those signs that he's brutally honest and what he says goes. And the thing is Sagittarius is pretty used to that. You, Pisces, I don't think so much. I think for you that is jarring because you're always focusing on other people's needs and then yours. And this month it's, no. I'm focusing on me. And it's like you've had to do this. I've seen it over the last few months. You've had to focus on yourself and your wants and needs, and it's like literally it's taking you out of the water and it's making you uncomfortable. But Pisces, that's just a part of life. Having wants and needs and putting yourself first at times is a priority and is just as important as everybody else's wants and needs. And you need to learn that working with these totems are going to help you get in touch with either those desires or those dreams that are untapped, undeveloped, that you have been craving, that other people keep trying to shut down because it may not be a desire for them, but it is for you. And then also we have the gift of sharing. Oh, I'm going to read from the book on this one because I have not actually worked with this card yet, but I suspect it has to deal with not just sharing, but you know how they used to say sharing is caring? Like, you know, it was like a I always hated that because my ex would use it as like a way to be sarcastic, whenever I would emotionally open up. He was a Virgo. He was stupid. But no offense to any of the Virgos who cross-watch this, but he was one of those lower developed Virgos. So just saying, like when I say he was stupid, he would be stupid sarcastic like that and be rude about other people's feelings and emotions. And then I'd be like, my feelings are valid, right? Like, I always have to have that talk with people of my feelings are valid. And I don't know if that, because I'm a Pisces rising, so I don't know if that's a Pisces rising thing or if it's just a people don't care thing. But, like, I get to a point where I'm like, well, if you don't care, I don't care. I'm going to say what I want to say anyway. My Mercury is in Sagittarius, so I really, like, when I say things, I really, really say it. Okay. The gift of sharing, the fairy gift and experience of carrying generosity and giving people into situations. A blessing for you, fairy friend, of sharing. This fairy gift offers you people who are willing and ready to hear and share their times, talents, their skills, and their company with you. Okay, so we'll be making new friends. You probably need that, Pisces, honestly. There is a sense of generosity with this blessing, a knowing that you will not journey alone as often as you have in the past, that wherever you go, there will be kindred spirits and fairy friends who will help you to know that your own personal willingness to give so much has been seen and appreciated. Oh, Pisces. There are many who are now going to share their own gifts with you. Let there be good people to share adventures with. Let the ideas and dreams you now have find others who share similar values. Let those who have plenty now offer you more. And may you too always return generosity to the same. Because remember, what we put out with the Fae comes back threefold. If you don't know that, you've known it now. So just FYI. There is a sense of people always having enough and offering so very much to you. And of you finally being able to gladly accept the sharings that you are given. That are given to you. Know that this fairy gift, this sweet and lovely blessing, has arrived completely as a result of your own caring and kind nature. And so, at last, you will be given and more is flowing back to you. So basically, you will be given plus more. You will be given more than you're asked, okay? And I'm going to explain that in a second here. I know we're a little over time, but I want to make sure you understand how when this blessing works with the Fae, how it works. Because I've had blessings like that come through with the Fae, but before I ever got this card deck. So it was like, it would just come at random times. Not like I had the cards to show me. So you guys are lucky. You guys know this time. Share good times, share the bad, share your heart, share the food at the table, and with that sharing, let your heart be filled with gladness. A blessing of the fairy gift of sharing to you, my friend. Now, sharing in terms of, especially when you share with the Fae. The Fae love it when we share with them. One, because it reminds them that we care about them and their realm and Mother Earth. But two, when we share with other people, it also opens up doorways to compassion and kindness that we are wanting to see in the world, that the world so right now desperately needs, and beyond. And the thing is, Pisces, you need to understand that when I say did you hear that? I can't tell if that's the wind whipping or if that's thunder, but oh, it's a plane. Sorry, guys. I thought for a second it was like the divine was like, yes, go queen. Slay. Like, like that TikTok. Anyway, like I was on point, but I'm still am. But the point is the thing is when you share and the reason it says you put those positive energies out there and the universe has recognized it, and working with this fairy gift, all you have to do is ask and ask the universe to show you its patronage to you. And when it does, you will find, especially with fairies, like you'll find coins or someone will give you extra money. Or in my experience, before I even started really working with the Fae, I was just putting my good out there. And one day, it was the last day of finals before I had to leave for Christmas break. And I'll never forget this because something told me to go to Starbucks. And I was like, I'm going to get paid later in the afternoon. I only got a few bucks for Starbucks, but I'll make it work. Literally, the lady behind me, and the lady in front of me paid for my drink, like just automatically. And then the lady behind me left and gave me a gift card to Starbucks. So I got to eat a full breakfast that morning. Another time, the Fae have helped me out. Sometimes in Money Matters, it's funny. Like, they'll give you coins, or you'll find like a random $10. Sometimes if you're like, yo, bro, I really got to pay my bills, I need this much by this time, they'll give it to you, but it might come down at the last minute to the wire. So that's why it's like, manifesting with money and the Fae for me, these last few months have been like, when they come through on the full amount and a little more. So let's say I have 3 bills and I put it out there. Let's say it all averages to $100, right? Like, all of them, they add up to that. And let's say I just need that much to cover my bills. So I'll say, okay, beautiful Fae spirits, like, I need help manifesting $100. Here's what I've done. Like, I just tell them, like, this is the work I'm doing. It's not being rewarded. I need patronage shown to me. And next thing you know, somebody will be like, hey, I'm going to give you $100. Or, instead I'll get 150. Okay. So then it's like, oh, I have enough to get gas. Oh, I have enough to get that. But then it's kind of like I'm back to square one on the next month. So that's why it's like, if you're going to manifest money with the Fae, don't wait till the last minute, and make sure you have other funnels, because that's really what they're looking for when they want to help manifest money in terms of sharing. But sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's like you say, oh, there's a funny TikTok of this lady where she worships the Fae too, and she counts her eggs, and one morning she has like 6 eggs in the cart, and she's like, oh, perfect, I have 3 for today, 3 for tomorrow. She opens up the eggs the next day, and she has another 6 in her in her cart, and she looks at the Fae and she goes, okay, 1, how did you get those? And 2, where did they come from? But sometimes that happens. Like, one time I had milk in the fridge and my milk got refilled when I lived on my own, and I was like, I know I had that past halfway and it got back to halfway. How did that happen? That's the Fae for you. They'll do things like that. So sharing with the Fae is a lot of fun. Also, if you're going to share and you're going to share with the Fae, you can give them an offering of coin. They like shinies. They like keys, and they also like milk and honey. So just FYI, like warmed and given at a crossroads. So other than that, Pisces, that's all I have for you. I hope this reading helped you as we're going through Mercury Retrograde for May. I will see you guys when I come back in June. Other than that, you can still book sessions with me. I'm just trying to clear my calendar. So in between retrogrades. So I'm still available. Like, share, and subscribe. If you want to tip me, please do so. If you want to book a session with me, please do so. If you want to do a recorded video session with me, please do so. I'm free for right now. I'll work around my schedule. I'll make you guys a priority. But regardless, just do what you would like to do. Or if you'd like to join me on Patreon, you may do so there. I'll see you later. I love you so much. Bye, Pisces.